The success of each step in the sales process is strongly dependent on the success of the previous step. And every small detail in each step builds up to build a successful sales meeting. That's why when sales professionals don't do a good job at the first step of building rapport, it negatively affects each of the following steps, and ultimately, they have a difficult time closing the sale. Now, some of you may be thinking, but what about all those great closing technique videos I saw on YouTube? Here's the deal. Starting with rapport and trust, each step builds on the next. And when executed correctly, the close is the easiest part. Author and former FBI lead international kidnapping negotiator Chris Voss states the overarching philosophy in negotiating is to help your prospects relax, build a rapport with them, and begin building trust so they will feel comfortable enough to share their needs with you and will see that you are actually there to help them. That same philosophy is used by the best of the best sales professionals in every interaction with the prospect, and that's why we spend so much time on the details that make up the essence of the sales interaction before we start talking about the structure of the sales interaction. To get an understanding of why building rapport and trust is so important to the close, let's reverse engineer the sales process so that we can take our global perspective and break it down into sequential order and better explain why each step of the sales process is so critical. We'll start with the close first and work our way backwards through the entire process. So here's our first step. During the close, what is the final action you are trying to get from your buyer? What is it that you want her to say? That's correct. You want your buyer to say yes. Now, before your buyer can say yes, what do you need to do? Okay, that was another easy one. Of course, you have to ask. You'll be surprised how many sellers forget about this step and never actually ask for the sale. In some cases, they don't forget. Rather, they are just scared that when they do make the ask, the buyer's going to say no. This fear causes sales professionals to waste time extending the sales process out further than necessary, and it also increases the chances of the buyer saying no. This might be the reason why sales training typically revolves around closing techniques. While asking for the sale is very important, as we continue to work backwards towards the opening of the sales process, you'll quickly realize that there are much more important steps you'll take that will make the close much easier. Let's keep reverse engineering through the sales process. So next, before you can ask for the sale, what has to happen first? That's right, you have to present your solution to the buyer so that you have something to ask for and that your buyer has something to say yes to. Pretty straightforward, right? It is straightforward, and unfortunately, that's why so many sales professionals stop here. Here's their approach. They practice giving a really compelling presentation. Then they practice some fancy closes to ask for the sale. And they're hoping that something they said in the presentation will be compelling enough for the prospect to buy. In reality, this practice does not make you a sales professional. It makes you a living, breathing, overpaid, walking, talking brochure. We call this the spray and pray method. Does it work? Sure it does, sometimes, and other times it doesn't. And here's where sales professionals get frustrated and start blaming their failure on other people. You see, because the spray and pray method does work sometimes, when we do make a close, we think it's because we're really good sales professionals. And when we can't close, we put the blame on something or someone else. But that's not what top sales professionals do. They know there are more steps before the presentation and the ask. And they know that the small, seemingly insignificant actions they take during each one of these steps is going to have a huge impact when they do ask for the sale. Are you ready to dig into those crucial steps? I know, I can't wait either. Let's get moving to the next session.